Somebody sent me. Somebody said that this guy, there's something going on with Kwite. He got canceled. Everybody's going kooky, crazy. Now, I obviously, before we start the video and understand I don't know anything about it, he did a video on me. I used to have a spicy account here. And he commented on it. It was like a joke where I would just paint my belly. Pictures like that are in it. And he gave it a nice review. He said it was pretty good. So if you want to watch that, I'll put it in the description. But if it's bad, if he did a bad thing, we're gonna pretend that we didn't just show that. Okay. So let's see what we got here.
This YouTuber is getting canceled right now. Drop Kwite is trending on Twitter, and these are some really serious allegations.
I refuse to be silent any longer. Oh man, not good. We should probably go and read through that whole thing. Then why? Yeah. Okay.
Now, if you're a YouTuber, there's probably a 50% chance you're a horrible person. Honestly, I don't make the rules, I just look at the statistics. If I come out tomorrow as someone who inhales their own farts, please don't be surprised.
That's not that bad. I don't inhale my own, I inhale other people's. Wow, there's a whole bunch here.
I am a YouTuber after all. Okay, jokes aside, this is a really serious topic. Basically, somebody named Vriska on Twitter came out with these really serious allegations against a YouTuber named Kwite. You guys probably know him considering he's a really popular commentary channel.
Wait, how bad of a guy can he be? He's still wearing the mask.
Really not looking good for us, man. This person came out with a bunch of horrible accusations, including the non-consensual sleeping with other person, the R word.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, hello. I never felt that I could come out about this, and I have struggled with this for years before writing this, and I doubt it'll be anything close of years after I write this that it will ever be released. So when did they write this? But in the case that you are reading this, I have come out and lay what has happened to me. I was assaulted by a man known as the YouTuber Kwite in February 2018 and have been an extremely toxic friendship on and off relationship with him since 2017. Okay, to start, in the beginning, I found Kwite's channel when it had less than 500 subscribers, and as a teenager wanted to make art for him because he didn't use his face in his videos. How old's this guy? He's 22 now, I think. It's so hard to find ages sometimes. It says he's 22. He wouldn't really be 21. Okay, yeah, no, he says he's 22 years old. Okay. So if he's 22 years old now, then at the time, if it was 2017 when they first started talking, then he would have been 17. 17. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure. It says he's 22 here. He would be 17. Okay, he didn't use his face. I thought he would have an easier time if I drew him and recommended he wore sunglasses and a face mask instead of manually keying his face out with a black box. There, I essentially came up with his Sona with him and drew various talk sprites for him for free. Okay, well, that makes sense. He's smaller. That he only ever used maybe once. We were around the same age and slowly began talking and bonding over shared mental health issues. Okay, they were the same age. Okay. At this time, I was undiagnosed with autism and borderline personality disorder, which I have diagnoses now, and thus was unaware of how these would affect me in the coming relationship we had, and how he would most likely know without knowing take advantage of me. Okay, so this right here, we have to understand something, and how he would most likely without knowing take advantage of me. Okay. We're going to get to like the allegations, but this is a big problem that I have because it's just like completely devoid of nuance. This person is saying that they have autism and BPD. Okay, I believe them, but it was undiagnosed. They didn't know about it. And obviously, I'm assuming 17-year-old Kwite isn't a behavioral specialist or somebody that has deep understanding of mental health issues, so he also didn't realize it. I don't think it's fair to say that somebody is unintentionally taking advantage of you, given the context. You having a different perception of the world might make it more difficult to set some boundaries, maybe, but that doesn't, and I'm not talking about like sexual assault right now. We're just talking about plainly, but I don't think it's fair to put that onto him just on this by itself. We're not here yet with the other allegations. You know, I do like a lot of advocacy for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. You know, my wife's a behavioral specialist, blah, 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 blah. Put it on the bingo card, whatever. My point is that there's a Interesting, we define the right area based on the individual's diagnosis of like individual, I guess you'd say, autonomy or agency. Somebody that's like higher support needed, lives in a group home, is obviously going to be very different from somebody who may not be as support needed. Different people's like different level of like autism or BPD is going to affect different people differently. You know, just because you have these doesn't mean that you're non-consenting. There's a lot of nuance here, but just on virtue of you having an undiagnosed issue, I don't think that by itself is, you know, I don't want to already push the blame onto him, but let's get through it more. Just wanted to kind of have like a little bit of a dialogue there. Yeah, I wonder what the issues that they bonded over. Yeah, I wonder. At first, we were extremely close in ways that helped both of us. He shared bits of his past and I shared mine. However, slowly my status as an artist would land me in more YouTuber circles and his would. And he would slowly try to encourage me to let him join the said spaces. Okay, that's normal. As a friend, I of course wanted to include him in as many as I could, but as I did and he made various connections outside of me, the relationship grew transactional. Okay. It's unfortunate. While I won't say I was the most stable person at the time, I was not actively unkind. I cannot say the same for him. When my abandonment issues would arise, he would leave me ignored, and then when I was having the worst of my time, he would swoop in to save me and keep me under his thumb. Maybe. There's a lot of intentionality there. The only reason I'm saying that is because like he could have been intentionally doing that, or maybe when she was being like super loaded, he didn't want to bother with her, and then when she hit like a wall where it got too intense, he was like, okay, let me try to help her. Or he could have been doing it disingenuously, I don't know. He would yell at me or act passive aggressive towards me when being my, let me just listen more than anything else. When being my friend was inconvenient, but love bomb me when it was just us or he needed something from me. Love bomb. Okay, interesting. What does that mean to love bomb somebody from her perspective? I wonder, like, what would he do? He would use my memory issues against me to gaslight me about things he said and would keep most of his conversations he had on calls or in Skype because the messages delete after a set amount of time. He would actively talk about his new friends to me when he wanted me to do something for him and took up a great amount of my time. So far, he sounds like kind of an inconsiderate dick. Eventually, we met in real life a few times. I had transphobic parents, so I told him my dead name to use only when my parents were talking to him. But after knowing this information, he would use it in ways to belittle me. The first meeting was fine, but he had a rule that I wasn't allowed to take pictures of him, but he was allowed to take pictures of me. I'm assuming that's because his whole persona online was with the mask on or whatever. So it doesn't really seem that problematic. After promising and begging to take a few pictures that wouldn't and still haven't been posted for memories, he let me take a few before he left. Okay. The second meeting, however, was different. We planned to meet up while he was on vacation in my city, and thus I would pick up in my car and we would both go to a trampoline park and go to see Black Panther. This is where the worst of his behavior occurred. At the time, we were both on and off flirting and had discussions that we were single. At the time, we would take each other's... Okay. We had discussions that if we were both single at this time, we would take each other's virginity. However, once he had come on to me in the back of the car, I started to get cold feet. He, however, did not want to take no for an answer. Okay. Okay. In the backseat of my car, he raped me. All the while, I was telling him how it hurt and how I didn't want to do this anymore. He kept telling me this is what you wanted as he went, but soon got bored of it and got out. I sat in my car by myself for a bit before going to join him in the movie we had planned together, and to make up, he had me buy him popcorn. I put this event out of my mind as just two virgins being bad at sex and hung out with him for the rest of the day, as he was still one of my closest friends. I have a video with him to prove we were together at the time that I was able to post only for myself after begging him to take pictures with me. Okay. So based on what she's saying, like there's no nuance here. Like he assaulted her. It sounded like they made a promise that they would sleep together if they were still virgins at the time. Like the way that consent works is it's not forever. If I say, hey, I will sleep with you like, tomorrow at 5 p.m. and then tomorrow at 5 p.m. comes and I decide not to do that, guess what? Like it's not happening. Okay. What she's saying is that like he forced himself on her and she said, no, I want to stop. And he didn't stop. Like there's no nuance there. I wonder what his side of the story is, But if it's as direct as what she's saying, there's no nuance here. It's just, there's no like interpretation issue from what she's relaying. There's no like, I tried to hint at them that I wanted it to stop, but he wouldn't, because that's the problem we talk about, where there are women tend to be a little less direct and men tend to be less emotionally intelligent. So, I always use an example of a guy's like, hey, you want to go in the bedroom and sleep together? And the girl's like, no, let's just stay here. To her, she's saying, I don't want to sleep with you. To him, it's like, oh, I guess you want to sleep with me on the couch, right? But this is very explicit from what they're saying. Of course, there's two sides to every story. A few months later, once he had gained quite a few more subscribers and larger YouTube friends, did he start ghosting me more and more often, all while I was having a BPD episode. It got to the point where he called me to cut me off, and in our flight called me a bad slur who thinks she's a boy and will never be. Okay, so basically okay. This extremely hurt me and caused me to spiral more. I almost needed to be institutionalized, but thankfully for my social support system, I wasn't. Okay, that's mean. I don't care about this as much. It's mean if he did say these things. I care more about this. Did he respond? Months passed, and when I tried to come out about my emotional abuse I suffered, I received harassment from his fans. I received calls to my house telling me to kill myself. Furthermore, my poor mental health. Eventually, however, it's subsided, and through a turn of events, I was able to set up a call to reconcile with him. In this call, he tried to gaslight me further, claiming that I had led him on, or worse, assaulted him instead, all in front of a mediator who thankfully knew better than to believe him. In this call, he screamed at me, threw things and broke things, and continued to try to gaslight me. If you have the call, did she release it? However, thanks to Danny, Lord Bung, incredible, he calmed down and apologized for some of his behavior. However, I do not believe it was sincere. Did you record the call? If you set up a call to reconcile and you had a mediator. I'm truly sorry that I stayed silent for these issues for years, but I cannot keep silent. I have been scared for my life and how the public will treat me, but I am too scared that I am not the only victim to keep silent anymore. Anyone who may have been victimized is more than encouraged to DM me, and I hope you're okay. I know that many of you will not believe me. I don't care. For those of you who do, thank you for your ear, and I hope that you stay safe. TLDR, I was raped by Kwite, emotionally abused, dead named, called slurs, and gaslit for sounds for 6 years. Listen, here's the thing. Like, by the way that they're recounting it, it was very clear it was like a sexual assault. But I mean, we're at the point where, I'm just going to operate innocent until proven guilty. I don't know what his side of the story. Did he respond? I just don't know. Did he respond or no? I don't know what to say. I don't know the specific ins and outs, or I don't know what their response is. Somewhere in the middle, they'll be the truth. But that's just how I'm going to operate. Let's see.
Okay. Now, this is a little different from every other situation we've come across before where YouTubers are being exposed, because usually it's like this anonymous Twitter account from 16 years ago or something saying that this YouTuber harassed me in this random time. I'm anonymous, so I'm not going to provide any proof or anything. I'm just going to say this YouTuber is a horrible person. But this person actually shows their own face as well as Kwite's face, which is a huge deal. Keep in mind, Kwite is a pretty big YouTuber whose identity is...
Oh, did they show us the face?
Pretty much anonymous.
That's proof that they might have known each other. But again, this is a serious accusation. I just believe in operating as innocent until proven guilty, I suppose.
Every single video you watch, he'll wear like this mask and a complete hoodie from head to toe. So basically covering every single aspect of his body. So he really doesn't want people to know who he is. Now, as someone who did that before as well, behind like gameplay videos or when I did a mask reveal, it is incredibly uncomfortable to appear in videos like that. So the fact that he was covering from head to toe each time, meaning that he really wanted to protect his identity. So now it's just kind of out there. So let's first look at the original tweet, look at the twit longer, look at the accusations, then look at the responses of people on Twitter, and then look at the screenshots that supposedly back up some of the allegations. Okay, so here we got Vriska's #1 defender saying, I refuse to be silent any longer. Read here, twit longer. And it's got 1.6 million views, lots of impressions, everything. Drop Kwite is trending. His comment section is filled with R word, R word, R word, R word. I used to love you, but now you're an R word. So it's a horrible situation. This is worse than the Cyrus album.
Let me just... Sorry, my mic is all messed up.
Allegation. Hello, I never felt I could come out about this, and I've struggled with this for years before writing this, and I doubt it'll be anything close of years after I write this, and this will ever be released. But in the case that you are reading this, I have to come out and lay it what has happened to me. I was R-worded by a man...
we can skip through some of this because we've already kind of got this.
And I slowly... conversation to me, know him, I just wanted to do something for him, and eventually take up a great amount of my time. So there's a lot of backstory to this, and the story has been corroborated by a bunch of other people, and the pictures as well. A bunch of people who kind of know him IRL follow that. It seems to be kind of a true thing. I don't know about the story entirely, but
yeah, I mean, it seems like they knew each other at the very least, sure.
The fact that the images of Kwite seem to be quite real. Eventually, we met in real life a few times. I had transphobic parents, so I told him my dead name to use only when my parents were talking to him. But after knowing this information, he would use it as a way to belittle me. The first
Okay, we already got through this. Let's see what the more information is.
By Kwite, incredibly serious. Kwite's mods shut down each channel one by one at a time. Each time someone tries to talk about what's happening with Kwite, even messages saying they'll DM the info to others. Obviously, I guess some of the fans don't want the story to go viral or anything, but
I think it's more that it's his Discord. So whether they're okay, so it might be true, but if it's not true, like, he would also have this response in his Discord.
Too late for that. His mods are silencing us. We are not silencing you guys. We understand your frustration. However, discussing it here is prohibited since it's a sensitive topic. We try to keep things lighthearted here. I don't think it applies once the person who owns the server, a situation like that arises. I don't think the Discord's rules applies anymore, bro. Okay.
It does. I mean, like, listen, like, let's say he's innocent. And I don't know, I'm not saying that he is. Why would he want to pass false information around his Discord? So whether he's innocent or guilty, he's going to have the same response, right? That's one of the problems in this situation. Of course, he's not going to want his Discord talking about him in this way.
So let's take a look at the screenshots real quick as they provided for evidence. We got some Discord messages from 2018 required. Also, what are your family doing while we hang out? Because if they are out, hotel room empty. Kwite responds, we'll see. On sheets, no good, bro. So I can confirm this is Kwite. I mean, I do.
They're flirting. Like, it was established in the thing that they were both flirting. They both had a mutual interest. The issue isn't that they had a mutual interest. The issue is that once it came time to sleep with each other, the girl didn't want to do it, and he, allegedly forced himself on her.
Contacts with him, commentary YouTuber. But so Kwite says the looks part, us meeting up is fine. Who can I tell we're dating to? If you trust them to keep it a secret, I trust your judgment. Probably keep it to people I know as well, though, unless you're really close to them. Then I get it. Ooh, changing it or something, and we got some Kwite art over here. Is this a good neutral for a mask guy? Yeah. Okay.
That looks like shit, honestly. But
okay, beyond this point, if I scroll down further, we got
I can't do any better.
Pictures of two people. One is the person in the twit longer, and the other person is Kwite, and they seem pretty close. They are kind of like hugging. One of them is lying on the other's shoulders. Presumably, the Twitter person lying on Kwite's shoulders. I don't want to show it just in case don't want to get in trouble. There's obviously the sources will be provided. You can go check it out yourself. It's on Twitter. It's trending. It's literally everywhere. Now here we are on Kwite's latest YouTube video, and the comment section is absolutely flooded.
Why don't you just
be everywhere? Now here we are.
You're not gonna show it?
Presumably the Twitter person lying on Kwite's shoulders. I don't want to show it just in case don't want to get in trouble. There's obviously the sources will be provided. You can go check it out yourself. It's on Twitter. It's trending. It's literally everywhere. Now here we are on Kwite's latest YouTube video, and the comment section is absolutely flooded with a million things of saying, you know what you did was wrong. I hate you. You're one of my favorite content creators. And I'm not going to scroll anymore because there's about 5 million R words in there, which I don't want to censor. So yeah, you can go take a look yourself. Anyway, this Twitch streamer is hating.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
This YouTuber.
Okay. I can't find the picture of them together. It doesn't really matter because I believe that they are friends in real life in some capacity. Oh, sorry. Yeah, they go by he. Whatever. Sorry. Sorry. That's fine. It is what it is. I didn't really pick up on that. Either way, here's the story that we got. These two individuals met online before he was a big content creator, so we can't even go with the power dynamic, blah, blah, blah bullshit. Thank God. They were flirting. They had mutual interest in each other. They met in real life a few times, and they had like a promise to sleep with each other if they were both virgins by whatever age. When they got together, she had cold feet. She said, I don't want to do this anymore. Stop, you're hurting me. And he didn't stop. And that there's no nuance there. If that's what happened, he raped her. We just don't know the specifics. We won't know until he responds. There's two sides to every story. It's possible that there's something in there, that maybe would make him innocent, I guess. But the thing is that, like, one thing, on the one hand, I'd like to think that nobody would lie about this stuff. On the other hand, this is the internet, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people who lie. I'm not saying that she is. I'm not even saying that her experience is invalid, but we need to see what he has to say first. That's pretty much it.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.